We are live. Oh my goodness. I got so excited. Hello and welcome. I got so excited. I went live in the wrong group. If you're just joining me, please give me a shout out in the comments. I'd love to see who's joining me live. Have we got, oh my goodness, such a session today. Tell me you can hear my music. For you, those of you that are new to my world, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. I love seeing all the newbies come into the group. It's amazing. And we are going to have such an amazing session today. So if you have come in here thinking, I have no idea what I'm posting, or I feel lost in it, I'm not sure what I'm doing, this is the session for you today. I can see all you ladies coming in. Oh my goodness, we've got Annette. We've got two Annettes. We've got Shalina and Patricia. Oh my goodness, all my favorite ladies. Whoop, whoop. Can you hear the music, ladies? Please tell me. I always like have this thing where I forget to share it and I'm bopping away and people are like, oh, hey, is she bopping away? This is like my, I can't even tell you how excited I've been today, just coming in. We have got so much to cover. Let me just check. I am live as well so I can see my comments coming up. Oh, there's loads of you live with me. This is amazing. Love it. Tell me where you're all from. I love to hear where you are from as well. Oh, I love a bit of music intro. Yeah, I apologize. Well, I'm not apologizing because I love a bit of music. It gets me in the vibe, and I always say it's like an anchor in like I'm going live. This is what I'm doing. It's almost like my kind of soul, my body, everything kind of catches up, and it's like, yeah, we're doing this. And hi, Stacey. And yeah, it just kind of almost makes me set into that intention that we're going to have an amazing session. London, baby. Love it. Yeah, so I am going to cover a lot today. I want you to grab your pens and papers if you have not already, or you can just absorb this training and go back to it because there's going to be a lot to absorb anyway. But if you are new to my world, I like to break things down really simply for you to just basically take action very quickly. So for me, I'm all about momentum. I'm all about not overcomplicating things, because when we overcomplicate things, it makes life so much harder. And we go round and around and around in a circle and we find that we haven't done anything. So I definitely don't want that for you. So who have we got in this? We've got... Oh, Annette's from Lancashire. I never knew that, Annette. I was looking through Stacey's from Northwest Missouri. Hi, Sarah. Northern California. Oh, you are all from all over the spectrum. I love this. Love it. Colorado. Oh, it's just so exciting. So what I'm going to do in a minute is I am going to share my screen. We are going to go through creating your content plan and your content calendar. So the beauty of this is that you don't need to make this massive. Okay, what I want you to get into the whole mindset of is that you are going to create a content topics bank of ideas. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually create a marketing plan from that. But without the ideas, without the topics, without even like the categories, you're not going to be able to do your marketing plan. And so everything's going to feel like it's like on the hop all the time. And when it's on the hop, there's nothing wrong with it being on the hop. It's just that you will forever feel like you're always catching up. You'll never feel like you know exactly what's coming up. And I really want you to get into that mindset of what's coming up. Like, I know where I am in June. I know where I am in July. And so by doing that, what will happen is that you'll be able to naturally create new product ideas, offers, and things like that. They fit into your social media. So what I don't want to have happen for you is I don't want you to feel like you're a content machine either. So that's not what we're doing here. We're doing two things. We're doing it in a way that lights you up, that feels fun, that you actually think, I understand now, like how this is feeling a little bit effortless, because it's all about me and my products. Because obviously I don't want it to be all about you and no product. I want there to be, and if you're a coach, by the way, this is exactly the same. We want you to merge the two worlds, okay? Those jigsaw pieces don't fit at the moment. They will, I promise. I am so excited because I'm actually going to use, because I've got two Annettes. I'm now like getting confused with which one's which. That's hilarious. I think it's Annette White though, isn't it? That I am doing the chocolate bouquets for. I'm just going to doubly make sure, because then I won't get confused. Anyway, so what we're going to do is I'm going to run through my little plan. I'm also going to give you the link to it, like a pop-up Patricia. Exactly. Amazing. I love it. Oh my goodness. Hi, Gemma. So I'm going to give you this content, like kind of step by step. What I am working on actually, which is very exciting, is an actual roadmap for you to take away and know exactly where you are, and then fit into the bits in that particular roadmap of where you need to then go from. So that's going to be really exciting. But for now, you have like a little mini roadmap. So let me share my screen. I can still see your comments as well, by the way. So I have my trusty little phone. So you'll see me looking to the left all the time. That's not keeping an eye on anyone. It's just I'm keeping an eye on my comments as well. So I can share the screen, do my thing. And then I'm also going to be watching your questions. So please know that you can ask questions at any point. And if you want to pop in as well, like if you are new here, I know some of you, but like, hi, Taryn. If you are new here and you want to pop in what you sell, I'm more than happy to help you with your content as well when we get time at the end. So if you can't and you're not here, you can't say the end to the end, that's absolutely fine. But what I will do is for the people that are on live is I will do an interactive brainstorming session with the ones that I haven't done before. I'm more than happy to do it with the ones that are on here and I have done before, but like I feel like, so some of them, I think last time, if memory serves, we did handbags, we did hampers, as in babe, like kind of baby, not baby hampers, but it was skincare hampers. And then there was another one, I think it was authors and books and stuff. So we'll go with I'll go with seeing what comes in, but I'm going to start with Annette as well. So yeah, I got the right Annette. Amazing. Okay, so let me share my screen. Because there is lots to go through in terms of, I'm going to give you deliverables in terms of aids that are going to help you. So you can go and download these as well. And for the new people that are joining me, I'm also highlighting these things because they're already there for you to use. Right. I always feel like I say, let me share my screen 50,000 times. Hang on a second. Share. Let's get this one up. Okay, so let's bring me down here, not that we want to see too much of me. Okay, so hello everyone else as well joining. I can see lots of you joining. This is so awesome. Love it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the content plan simplified today. So for those of you that again have joined that are new, there is a 7-day kind of Kickstarter session that goes into all of this in like more detail. So I always feel like there's two types of people that just want the short version simplified and they just to get them going. Some people need to have more detail. So if you really feel like there's some of these things that aren't there in today's session, please go to the Kickstarter sessions. You'll find that in the guides in the Facebook group. It is really good. It's one of like the top favorites in this group, and it's really powerful for you to break down each section. So I go into like how you can bulk create your graphics and things like that. So there's lots of little things that we won't be covering the graphics today because I feel like that's not the bottleneck. The bottleneck normally is the actual content part and the topics and everything else. No worries, Sarah. So yes, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the aids first. I'm going to show you where those are, and then I'm going to crack through how we actually put these this plan together. Because I promise you, once we start into this brainstorming kind of ideas, is you'll like get really excited. I hope you do anyway. Okay, so first of all, we have an amazing aid called the Empowered Elements Playbook. I am going to be changing that word soon because it's I love the word Empowered Elements so much. I actually created another membership for it. So all stock imagery and everything, all beautiful stuff. So so you can find that in the first section. So it's all linked. You'll be able to find it in the Plan Your Content section in the members portal. And there is this amazing empowered elements playbook. And what it is it just goes through loads of different ideas of content pillars. And I'm going to talk about content pillars in a minute. But it basically gives you categories of what you can base your content on. So the reason, and you can go through this, there's like, I think there's about 25. And if you're looking at this and you feel like there's nothing that resembles you at all, please leave a comment or post in the group and I'll add it to there for you, because I really want this to be something that works for you. And I don't want you sat there stuck. Okay, so the reason why we want to do content pillars, first of all, is that they're a great way of us being able to categorize topics for our content. Okay. And if you just think of them as like literally that, headings of topics. And I'm going to ask you to come up with 3, not 5, not 7 for now. If you come up with more than 3, amazing. But if you come up with just 3, that's going to simplify this even more, because all you've got to do is concentrate on 3. So we're going to, I'm also going to suggest, and this is really, really important, I'm going to suggest that you go check out the post of the productivity power up session. It's got a sprint sheet. I'll click on it now to show you. And there's literally a really quick 7-minute walkthrough of how you use this productivity power up session. Okay, it is amazing. I have done this live with some people as well in my other memberships, and it is so good. You will be so productive at doing it this way. So go and check that out afterwards, and go and download the task sprint worksheet. You'll work incredibly well when you know it. Just basically tells you and works with you doing one thing at a time. Okay, so your brain is really focused at that point. I'm all about saving brain space, because I'm a mama, a hot mess mama of a hormonal mama going through perimenopause at the moment. And for me, brain space is really important. So I'm all about that balance. So I really encourage you to do it. I find it massively helpful for myself. There is also, which we're going to go through today, a content pillars brainstorming template. Again, because I like pretty things, I want to just use a template that I know exactly what I'm doing. So that's in Canva. It's completely free for you to use. So you just need to click on the template, and we're going to go through this brainstorming session of like coming up with the content pillars. And then we're going to start coming up with these topics, sorry. Okay. And then there are others which I will link to, but there's caption boards, which is posts, your post captions of what to say. There's reels as well. And then there's Instagram template graphics. We're not going to go into any of those today, because I want you to have your marketing plan ready to go. And then we go on to that next stage. So let's talk about the content pillars. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask, by the way. I will go at this quite fast, because and this is sometimes why it's really good for you to just kind of absorb, take it in, and then rewatch maybe if you want to. But you'll get the gist of it, even just watching, etc. And you need to kind of go away and do this yourself anyway. But we will obviously do some interactive stuff as well. So I'm going to make this really, really easy for you. in the terms of content pillars, because I feel like there's such a boring topic, so I don't want to labor the point. So we're going to come up with 3 content pillars. You'll promise to yourself today, or over this week, if you haven't done this already, is that you are going to just come up with 3 categories that encapsulate your social media. Okay. And it doesn't matter whether you're doing this on Facebook, whether you're doing this on Instagram, it runs through exactly the same. Okay. So I've made this really easy. If you sit there getting stuck with like, what do I actually choose as my content pillars? I'm going to give you these ideas already to run with so that you're not sat there going, I don't know. Because the thing is you can change this later on. You can change this as you go through. Do not think for 1 minute that if you start this and you start going down this avenue, you can't change it. You absolutely can. It's your rules all the time. It's always your rules. Okay. And you'll never really hear me talk about algorithms because I don't want to talk about that because it's actually really boring. And that's actually what turns all of us off. So I want you to get lit up by the topics that you choose. And that's the main thing that you say to yourself is no matter what I choose, it's got to light me up. I'm not doing it for the sake that I think what I should be doing. It's what I want to do. There's a very big difference. Okay. So I couldn't talk about certain things in my business, even though other coaches were talking about them because they just didn't light me up. And it's not going to work for me. It's every time I come to do the work, my body is going to literally shut down. And you'll see it. You'll start yawning. You'll start finding all these different ways to kind of get away from doing the thing that you need to do because it doesn't fill you with joy or excitement. Yes, you will have a copy of this slide. So I'm going to download it as a PDF and then you'll have a copy of it and they'll all be clickable links. Okay, so the easier wins, and I'd actually really encourage you to do the behind the scenes because the point of the behind the scenes is it allows me to get to know you. This is the one thing and the one thing only why we're doing it in this way is that we want people to relate to us. They can't relate to us. We can't be unique in that own individual way if we're saying the same things as everyone else. If our product is the same as everyone else, we can't stand out. So we have to show ourselves in a way that people kind of go, I like what she's talking about. Yes, I understand that. It can be something that is irrelevant to your actual business. And I'm going to go into those examples in a minute. But behind the scenes allows you to really start to share what you're doing in your business, what you're learning in your business, what you're creating in your business. There is a whole wealth of things that you do behind the scenes. So behind the scenes is a real easy tick. And if there's people on this live now watching this thinking, I don't feel like I'm interesting enough to talk about stuff that's happening in my business, or why would people want to listen to what I have to say? Please just run with this because I am so, can you just think about the thing, like I always think about, can you think about the one person that would be really interested? Not about the many people that you're saying wouldn't, but the one person that would be interested in what you're saying. The one person that would be like, that's for me. So if you sell chocolate bouquets, for the one person that is looking for the chocolate bouquets right now, who is like, so like, I love chocolate. Like, it's just like, you have to just get yourself into that mindset that there are people there waiting to see your posts. So I want you to come into that mindset rather than like, I don't think I want to show up because I don't think anybody wants to hear me, because it's not true. It's the only thing that you're saying to yourself to try and keep you safe from change. I could go into that for a whole hour, but we won't. So the other thing that is easy, and I split this up, by the way. Oh, that should be saying for product suggestions for coaches. So I've split these up by product businesses and coaches. Okay, so you can go down these and you can go off on a tangent as well. So don't just stick to these. You can go with very different, and that's what we're going to do with the brainstorming in a minute. But product showcases, categories, you can do promos, reveals. So you'll be wanting to show your product. You'll be wanting to talk about your course. You'll be wanting to talk about your freebies. Never, ever miss this out. This is definitely the one that has to stay in at some point. So I know that some of you are like, well, all I talk about is my product. But actually what we're going to do is we're going to take a spin on that, because then we're going to incorporate some of the things that you're interested in into those as well. And then we've got like seasonal themes, bringing your product into certain themes, which we're going to brainstorm as well. Inspirations, that things that personally inspire you, things that you love, interests that you love. You would be amazed at how I can talk about things that are so nothing to do with my business, but that people engage with me and that end up coming into my world because of something completely different, because it was relatable. One example I want to give you, and because if there's anybody feeling like, I want to give you this example. So some of you may have seen on my stories that I have had a really tough time with my dog. She went blind quite suddenly in the last 2-3 weeks, and she lost her sight literally overnight. And it has been like one of those really hard things, because it's like dogs are like your children. And I was really as I've gone through the years, I actually have started to share things that are happening in my personal life. And that's been really hard for me, because from a corporate background, which I came from, is that it was like we were always told to kind of reserve that kind of part of us. We didn't share those things too much, because it was deemed as unprofessional in that way. So I've had to get my head around actually sharing some of my more personal things. But actually, those types of stories have been the things that have really connected me to people that have come through my life, but have not been really vocal, haven't really got in touch. I've had people from 12 years, 20 years come and see a post, never ever, even though we've been connected, never ever said anything until this one post, because it brought them emotionally to me. And they couldn't just and I never did this in a way to create effect like that. I was like, this is what I'm going through. And, it's hard, and it's hard to balance my emotions with my business and everything else. So never think that something personal shouldn't belong in your social media. It absolutely should. I would encourage it if you can, and start off you don't have to go with your real rawest of stuff. Just start off with baby steps of I know this sounds so daft, but even the things that you love, I love matcha lattes, those things that I have to have, they become a signature of things that you'll see maybe in my stories. So you'll have these things that you will start to go, oh, actually, I'm going to do that. But they're things that are effortless. And they're things that you don't take too long doing. And that's really, really important. Yes, my background is corporate too. Yeah. So, okay. So we're going to take an example of this, but, and I'm going to work with Annette, who was in the chat, and she, had given me her interests, and so I'm going to use her as an example, and then we can go through anyone else that wants to do this as well. So we are going to basically run through some of these as ideas, but I want you to ask yourself these questions when it comes to interests and inspirations, because this is what's going to make the difference. Okay, so what do I like to talk about? So I want you to start if you have got a pen and a paper, start thinking, and this is the thing, is don't cross out the things that come first in your mind, because those are the clues that the things that you want to talk about. Okay, so what do I like to talk about? You literally are going to brainstorm these ideas and topics and write them down, and literally keep writing. And you can do this later on, that's fine, you don't have to do it now. But if you want to literally have a conversation with yourself and start going, right, what do I love talking about? What in the last month, what have I been focused on, and those things? What do I love doing all the time? And then you start to go, what's the things that I just can't live without? Or what aspects of my work am I passionate about? Or why did I start doing this? Why do I start picking these products? And so you start asking these questions, because what's going to happen is you're going to start to brainstorm all of those things, and you're going to start to see a pattern. And so what everyday experience it inspires me. So like music might be something that really inspires you. Walks might be something that you really love to do. It might be that you love like certain like fashion fabrics or just certain things that light you up. I love, if I'm like honest, I'm really into essential oils. Not that I used to be. I love those. I love like I use like perfumes as anchors, like for different emotions. That sounds really strange, but I have this, and I know people will resonate with this. You know, when you have like a suntan lotion and you put it on your skin, and it just gives you that like complete mindset to I'm going on holiday. It kind of links you to sun cream just always links me to holiday. I have that with specific perfumes and scents, and I use them for different emotions. And so I could talk about that, and I could talk about that to like I'm blue in like the face. I love it. It's amazing. It does something for me. I have different like kind of crystals that do the same thing. I'll pop them in my pocket. I could tell you stories about those. And we're going to talk about some story weaving stuff as well in the chocolate stuff. And I'm going to go into the world of chocolate hampers. And then it's like, what am I learning right now? What journey am I on? So like mine has been about balance this year. Like think about the theme of your year. If any of you did like the word of your year, like you'll know that like you're going through that period of like, what am I learning this year? What's my theme for this year? So for me, it's like being about grace and balance, and like, you know, not being that person that's trying to please everybody. And it's been really hard for me, and I've been really vocal at some points, and I've done some really painful actions that, you know, I felt like I had to do, but it just hasn't, like, for me, it's like, it's been a tough ride, but to allow grace, to allow that through. So like I talk about it quite a lot. So have a lot of those things kind of thinking about that, and you'll start to kind of incorporate this. Right, enough talking about this, because I want to get on and crack on with doing these actual content pillars. Okay, so Annette loves spending time in a creative space. She loves beautiful floral arrangements and installations. She loves listening to podcasts and reading. She also loves anything related to fashion, colors, and textures, and also passionate about cooking from scratch. And her product is chocolate hampers. Now, you may be thinking, well, how are these all going to entwine? But this is what we're going to do now. This is where the magic really occurs. I have to keep flicking backwards and forwards because I will not remember all it. Well, actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. Because we'll copy and paste these up here. So I've got them to hand. Okay. Okie dokie. Right. So let's just do this so everyone can read it. There's nothing worse than when you're watching something you can't read it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start to brainstorm content pillar ideas. So obviously the first one has to be around her chocolate hampers and things like that. But what we can do is, and I honestly think that what will happen is we'll probably have more than 3 content pillars. But for now, I'm going to just kind of rein it in and go, yes, you might have. But what you don't want to have is like, you definitely don't want to go way more than 7. Like, I don't believe that I don't feel that you have to post every single day. I feel like, if I'm really honest, consistency is more about you showing up and doing the content when you planned to, as opposed to, oh, I need to, and I need to do it this many times. So it's consistent as in you do it when you've planned to do that. So spending time in a creative space, loves beautiful floral arrangements and installations. So because I went and had a look, and I feel it's only fair, I hope it's all right, Annette, if I just showcase your Instagram. I feel like I'm going, no. But I'm going to say it because you popped the link in the chat. So, okay. So, because Annette, when I looked through, Annette has really, really beautiful bouquets with flowers, and I can completely understand where that floral kind of inspiration comes from. And I see it and I love it, and I love it so much. And there's some posts here that I actually feel like you can really bring to the forefront and will excel. So we can talk about that at the end, but like this is definitely one of my favorites. And actually, weirdly enough, it seems to be one of your favorites on when I looked through all of them. So more of this, please, because it's like, and this is for anybody, when you go through looking at posts that your audiences have liked, is you go through and you actually look at what's had like the most likes, the most kind of impact on my stats when I look at it. This was definitely a favorite. So what we want to do is you want to try and recreate some of those things to like, so that your audience is wanting more. Okay. So for me, like the floral inspiration is definitely, I would say, because I can see it already, I would say we put that in as a main category. So it's like floral inspiration from that. So I'm going to run with this, and you don't have to choose these. I'm just going to give you ideas of like how you go with these. Okay. So number one, we're going to go floral. We need to, that would help. So you're just going to, you can use these as this template, floral inspo, we'll just call it. Okay. So that's our content pillar number one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come to like the topics. And then, so she's also passionate about cooking from scratch. So cooking from scratch is like, I always have these questions. All right, what's the sort of things that I like cooking? Like, and how can I incorporate chocolate into that? And my first question is do you actually, do you cook like chocolate cakes and things like that? Because that's something, keeping it in with the theme, but then you're bringing into like what you're doing at home as well. So that would be one thing that I would ask. Another thing would be like, in terms of like, so I want to just say to you as well, it doesn't matter if you feel it's all about your product, because the difference between content pillar 1 and content pillar 2 may feel like it's similar, but it's not for you. And I want to say the reason why I'm saying that. So one of the ideas, because one of the things that I really loved that you'd put was about fashion and colors. And so you could have something where you have like a bouquet of the month that is aimed at like maybe a fashion icon or like a fashion trend. And so like if you love fashion and you love textures, which I can see already, is that just becomes one of your main content pillars, so that you know when you're thinking about topics, is it's all about fashion, or it's all about color, or it's all about fashion trends. So I'm going to put fashion trends here as an example. Okay. And then what we'll do is we've got one last one. No, I'm rubbish at baking. Maybe we'll take that off the agenda on that one then. Okay. So I had a little bit of a brainstorming whilst I was waiting to come online. And one of the other things that you mentioned was, where was it? Oh no, so it was about the chocolate theme, but it could be about, so this is the next one. So, and this is where people can get confused as to like, they're like, oh, I'm not sure if that would be a content pillar, but you can have themes as a content pillar. So like when I say themes, it might be in June or July, you run with a particular theme for, and I think this is where this becomes really interesting for you. And this is why I want to kind of evolve this conversation. So themes might be something like sweet stories, or that might be like themes. So themes might be that every Wednesday you decide that you're going to talk about a real fond, sweet story memory. It might be that you talk about chocolate holidays, like as in like different cultures and what they do with chocolate and how they gift chocolate that way. So that's a different theme. It might be that there's a theme of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like kind of theme throughout a particular month. So themes in that way are really, really powerful, but it allows you to create variety without having to feel like you're coming up with the same thing. And that's why I love having themes as one content pillar, because it just means that you have that variety moving forward. I would look forward to sweet stories. Yeah. Themes. And the thing is, Annette, like, I feel like when you connect to stories with sweets and things like that, you may think straight away, oh, I don't know if I have enough stories. But I categorically can tell you right now that you probably will have way more than you give yourself credit for. And what will happen is, as you start to like decide that you're going to do this, you'll start to think of like stories that will come in. Like, I always remember this story of my grandfather, and he had this like he had the after eights, and he always used to eat the after eights, and he used to put the wrappers in my dad's wallet or someone's wallet. And when they used to go and pay for something, they'd open up their wallet and all these after eight wrappers would fall out, and he'd find it hilarious. And he did this for years. And when when my grandfather got buried, they actually put empty wrappers in his jacket pockets. And I'll always remember, even when I have after eights now, I swear that when we sometimes go to a restaurant, they'll put after eights, and it always reminds me. And so it's one of those things that I always feel like you could forever tell that story a million times. It wouldn't matter throughout your whole entire contents, because not everybody's going to, you could say it so many different ways. Like, it's just like one story that could be told 1,000 different ways from your interpretation of parts of it. So I always feel like those kinds of stories are really reflective in the way that that, you know, we share our life. And so from that perspective, you get to know a little bit about me. And it's like, I really love the way she tells the story, kind of thing. I used to leave the empty ones in the box. Oh, that's so lovely. So do you see what I mean? It's like you kind of get to know a little bit about my life. And so themes are a great way of you being able to do that. Fashion trends are a great way of you being able to do that. I get to know who you like. I get to be relatable because I'm like, you get to be relatable, sorry, because I'm like, oh my God, I love that icon. And it doesn't matter if I don't. But the point is that you're attracting the people that do. Floral inspo is exactly the same thing. So let's take these for now, and we'll go over to our trusty. So now that we've got this is going to be now our little messy brainstorming little area. And then we're going to actually make it a little bit, it will feel at first when you're doing this, we're only ever going to do this like really once for a while. And you can come back to this if you just kind of feel like you want to have a re-energizing of your posts or your content. That's fine. But we're only going to really do this once, because, and you can save this, and this is why I love to keep it in, and you can do this on paper or whatever, however way you want to do it. But you want to do it in a way that's going to allow you to just get the thing on paper. Okay. And I love pen to paper sometimes because it does allow me to just flow. Okay. So content pillar, floral inspo. It's difficult for me to do this because I need to get inside your head in that, but I'm going to think about all the things that would arrangements and installations and things like that. So I'm going to come back to, so like real easy wins. Let me just do this. So you can, there's like you said to me, I remember you reading in the comments that you said, I love looking at other people's floral arrangements and taking like that and transposing your own take of that into your chocolate bouquets. I think that is genius. And I actually think that you can showcase what was inspiring you and what you came up with. So that is your like kind of show and tell, like from an inspiring kind of way, inspiration. So then you could have it where like it might be that you do this once a month, doesn't matter, but it's one thing that, you know, okay, I've got, and it might be that you have like 4 different ideas already, and you're like, okay, well, all I'm going to do is showcase what I'm doing. And there's so many different ways then that you can split this up, which funny enough is like, oh, behind the scenes. So we've got behind the scenes. Let me take a quick drink. We've got unboxing. We've got, and some of these will cross over. Hang on one second. Tickle. And then we've got flowers, the actual flower part of it. And then it might be that we've got colors as a theme from that. So just from that one show and tell inspiration, we've got the behind the scenes, which might be, and I don't want to go too much into this because I want this to be your inspiration, but you can stick a tripod up with your phone going. And I spoke to one of my lovely ladies yesterday on a one-to-one, and you know, she was like saying that the kind of behind the scenes are the things that take me so long. And I said to her, you're trying to make it look like a tutorial when it doesn't need to be like a tutorial. All you need to do is get a tripod and stand your phone and put it onto time lapse and let it run, and you're there. And this 10, 15 minute, 30-minute thing condenses into literally like 30 seconds or 60 seconds or 90 seconds. And you put that as a reel. So you haven't had to do anything. You've just shown, and you put like, if you go to the reels board, and this is where the reels board is really going to serve you, you grab one of the trending voiceovers that I've given you and you just put it over the top. So that's really, in that sense, as you were still carrying on doing what you were doing, no one was interfering. You were just having the camera showcasing. It doesn't even need to show you in it. It can just be your hands doing whatever. That's fine. So that's just running. So that's one tick. Unboxing, exactly the same, or boxing it up, packaging it up, whatever way you want to do it. Picking flowers or picking like the things, making the little bits up. I reckon you could get 5, 10 different things. You're just showcasing all the time. That's why it's called show and tell. You could even do like, when you're doing it, you have, and tripods are going to be your best friends for any makers in this. They are absolutely your best friend. I finally got a brilliant overhead tripod. Amazing. So you can get all sorts of different tripods. You can get ones that look like camera, like stands. You can get little ones like this, which have got a stand, which are adjustable. I've probably got about 4 different ones. You don't need to be excessive like that, but you just need to find a way that's going to make this easy for you. Because you don't want to be the person that's like, right, we need to get the right angle. I definitely don't want that for you. That's what's stopping you. This needs to be done, because I'm enjoying it. I'm loving this. I get to show people what I'm doing because I'm in my, so this is where it becomes where you're not sat there like going, oh gosh, what do I say? Because it's flowing. And all you're doing then is typing a caption and going, do you know what? I had so much fun just creating this. My inspiration just came from this or this. And you can show like a photo if you wanted to. I want to make this into this. There you go. There's a reel before and after. You'll see that in the reels boards as well, before and after. So then what we're going to do is we could then branch that out. So we've got flowers. Okay, what types of flowers? You know, so we've got like, there's loads of different things. So we're then going to come up with those like topic ideas. But we don't have to do all of this right now. You've just got this and you've got these, and you know that these are your subcategories under your main pillar of this. This is amazing. I've only done 1 so far. I haven't even got to anything else about floral inspo. It might be that we then take this flower one and we go, okay, so within flowers, what could be coming on that? And it might be weddings. Oh, what about weddings? Oh, well, that could be like bridesmaid gifts. Did I just say bridesmaid gifts? It could be flower girl gifts. Do you see what I'm doing? Is it just becomes like flower girl? Or did we just say flower girls? Oh my goodness. This is like literally my brain going like now it's gone off. And it doesn't matter because it's just like, yeah, flower girl gifts. So from when we were talking about floral inspo, we would never have got to this. But because we're going down this angle like this, we're like flowers. Oh, okay. First thing that comes to my mind is weddings. Okay, now we're going. Now what else? Okay, now we've got like Mother's Day or something like that. And then we've got anniversaries. And then what comes out of anniversaries is, oh, wouldn't it be so cute if I did like golden weddings? And then I did like ruby weddings. So we're still keeping it in like check with our content pillar, but your mind is not talking to you saying, all I do is talk about chocolate bouquets. You're supposed to, but at the same time is we're like weaving it in our own way. We're like, okay, well, I'm still talking about my product, but I'm talking about things I love too, because I love talking about flowers. So that's why I love this. Mother the bride and groom. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, you get my drift. Let's go on to fashion trends. And then you can just keep going with this, by the way. There's so many things. And I haven't even gone on to Canva Magic right yet. Let's just do one. I tell you what, let's do one. No, we'll do it on the fashion trends. Because otherwise we'll never get onto the last one. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we are going to do fashion trends. So first thing that comes to my mind, again, this is all your interpretation, but I'm just going through this. Inspired icons, fashion icons. Okay, so then it would be, okay, so I love, it might be Marilyn. And that might be white. I know it sounds crazy. Satin. Don't know where I'm going with this. Champagne. Anyway, you might then decide, okay, so coming from that, what I'm going to then do, so I'm going to do that as a bouquet. Limited. Oh, so we're going to do a limited bouquet. And that might be that you decide, okay, I'm going to do a limited bouquet and I'm going to pre-sell those. And when they're gone, that's it. And so you'll start to like, and you're going to call it maybe the Marilyn. And then every month you do one and they go, oh my goodness, I love this. And then this is like whose birthdays are coming up. So you then start to like position like them. You can talk about the Marilyn like all the way through the month. It's not just a one-off. Marilyn's coming through because you're talking about Marilyn and you're like talking about like the most favorite thing that you loved about Marilyn. And then you start, and this is featuring on your stories as well, by the way. So you can present like your Marilyn in the news feed, but then you start talking about it a little bit more. And you start talking about like, oh, I've got the energy of Marilyn with me today. We've got the music going. And then you start to talk about the films. And do you see where I'm going with that? We're talking about inspired fashion trends, but we're going off on such a tangent, but people will come back and they'll go, I loved that film. Oh my goodness, that was my favorite. Then you start putting out a story and you start saying, what was your favorite Marilyn film? Name a Marilyn film that you think nobody's ever seen. Those kinds of things. So I'm massively going off and diversing, but I can't believe you've mentioned champagne. Yeah. Oh, Vivienne Westwood would be amazing, like feathers. And then I think about Sex and the City and because of the like Vivienne Westwood dress that was featured. And so I remember like just amazing. So you can do so much with this. And actually, what I will say is that you'll find that you'll end up just creating these products, but creating in a way that fills you with so much joy that it doesn't feel like it's the same. And this is what we're trying to move away from. It doesn't feel like it's the same all the time. And then you get my drift. So you start going with that, limited bouquets, fashion icons, fashion trends. So let's go with that. Sorry, I'm getting really, this is how much stuff we've got. So then we've got fashion trends. Okay. So let's go to Magic Write. I want to show some of you who may not have seen Magic Write. Magic Write is up here. It's free with the free account, I believe now, which is amazing. So what this does is it's a AI, and it gives you basically, rather than you going and Googling a load of things, it gives you it in a format by you asking it a question or giving a statement, and it will do it for you. And I love this for brainstorming. I don't really like it for content because it's just really wooden, but for brainstorming and outlines, it's really great. So if we click on the this and click on Magic Write, I'm just going to say list 10 fashion trends. Let me just go with this for a minute. Okay. Let me do it again. List 10 fashion trends that could be incorporated into bouquets. Let's see where we go with that. Might not like that. Floral prints. Use flowers with printed design for a unique term. Metallic accents. Feathers. Yeah. So Bohemian. Oh, I love Bohemian. So using flowy ribbons, wildflowers. Amazing. So like, for anyone in my empowered elements will know that I love wildflowers and meadows and all of that, and eucalyptus. And so I would definitely like be bringing out this, and it would be like, oh my goodness, how can I get like flowy ribbons and things like that? That might be something that I'm like, yeah, that's a real like Bohemian or boho. And then it might be that you decide like to kind of mock up. Let me just go back to this. So it might be that you love tassels, different berries, seed pods, and you would just take out. And so then what I could do is I could go, okay, list 5 examples of Bohemian. Oh, goodness. Bohemian inspired bouquets. Okay, so pampas grass again. So peonies, love peonies. And so it might be that love lavender as well. So it might be that you're like, oh, I love all these ideas. This is going to be my theme for like boho month. So I'm going to then come back to that and go, or like for florals or whatever you want to do, trends. The thing is, what you must see here is that this is how beautiful, really, when we're looking at these, that the content pillars, they all merge into each other. They're not like really off with each other. They actually complement each other really well. So to someone else, they wouldn't really know that you've got different content pillars going on, because they all feel aligned. So for me, it's like, yeah, that just kind of flows, and it doesn't really matter kind of too much if it's in themed or whether it's in fashion trends or whether it's in floral, because they kind of all blend together, which is really lovely. So let's just say that we'll put it under themes, but we're going to do like a boho style themed for that month. And then it might be that you're going to do 2 new bouquets from that, or 3 new bouquets from that. And that's fine. And you would pick that from those lists, or whatever you wanted to do. It might be feathers and things like that. And then another theme might be that when you start to come up to Christmas, it might be that you do like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. and you have different themes of like that represent different characters from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Or it might be that you just have chocolate bouquets that represent different characters. That's it, full stop. So it might be that you just come up with characters that are linked to chocolate. It could be like they're all different themes. What else have we got? We had the stories. Sweet stories. And you could even ask people, like your audience, for their favorite stories. This is brilliant. Thank you. You've made it so effortless. Oh, my brain. It's just typical Pisces, I think. Okay. Dreamy and imaginative. Oh, gosh. And emotional. So we've got all those things there. Oh, that's another thing. That's so funny. So maybe you could do like something around star signs. I mean, I know I'm bringing my own thing into that now because I love like all the moon and everything else. So it's like those things that light you up in that sense is like, bring them in. I love like oracle cards. Can you believe that I actually, like, from somebody who was like from the age of 18, 17, loved oracle cards, is now running a membership, you know, with stock imagery for oracle cards and everything else. And it's just like, this is amazing. So but I can talk about that because I love all that stuff. It's easy for me. It feels effortless. And that's what it should feel like for you. It feels effortless that you can come up with this, because it's not that you're having to come up with something that feels so wooden, because it's all about you. Okay. I love chili chocolate mojito. I love it. I love it. Oh, this is so cool. Love your comments. Okay, so then what we do is we're going to go over to our trusted Trello. And this is why sometimes it feels like at this purpose that it's kind of a little bit copy and paste, but I promise you what will happen is now you've done this bit, you'll just go straight to Trello. Star signs I'm really into. My son is a Pisces. Love it. Okay, so, and that's it. So you can go off on a tangent for themes and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to Trello. For any of you that have not used Trello before, it's really simple. So please don't think for 1 minute I'm going to show you something that's really complicated. There is a Trello tutorial, and I'll link it into the show notes, into that document, because I can't remember where it is, but it's in the portal. So it does go through quite quickly how you can use it and some of the tips and tricks. I'm not a Trello expert, by the way. I just want you to know that. I just love Trello because it makes it easy, life very easy for me to get my brain into gear as to what I'm doing. Okay, so this is Trello. You literally have your workspaces, which have all your listings of Trello, which I'm not going to go into now. But we're going to just literally create those 3 content pillars, which were, this is how my brain's gone already. Floral inspo. And then fashion trends. Oops. And what was the last one? Themes. Do you see what's happening in the comments though? I want to just like, because I do think this is really poignant. I've told you about my star sign. You've already told me what your rising star is. Sign is. You've already told me that your sun is a Pisces. That's relatability there and then. I didn't ask your permission or even worry about me giving you that information. My son and my my other half is a Capricorn, by the way. So, which is really funny. That's very yin yang, Capricorn and Pisces. So the thing for me is that we have to give ourselves permission to come forward with this information, and it's because it's interesting. Like, we have to just give ourselves credit that we are interesting, even if somebody told us we weren't. For whatever reasons, we've got to just think about, I'm doing this for me first, because this is why we're doing this. I know there are other reasons why you think you're doing this, but there is purpose in all of this, as in posting with purpose, but there is purpose for you as an individual to do the work that you love. And so I don't want this to be painfully boring and raw and everything else. So anyway, and then just because I'm a real person that has to see things the way that I love to see things, you can decide to do this if you want to. What did I do with it? I just did headings so that we can put them in and they look all nice and we know where we are. So fashion, inspo. And then I'm just going to do so doubly quick. Duplicate. What was the second one? Flowers, inspo. That's not. Just so, and then themes. Okay. I'm going to just download those really, really quickly. So sorry. Download. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go to Trello. I know this is super quick. I'm really sorry. I'm just going to put a dot in there just so I can have the heading. If you go to the Trello, you will see what how to do this. Then I'm just going to attach that one. Attach that one. And then attach this one. Okay, so then what we're going to do, so we've got our 3 pillars. Then what we're going to do, we're going to start to create the cards, which are just the topic ideas, okay? There they are. So we've got show and tell inspiration. So I'm going to put in show and tell inspiration. Okay, so what will happen from this? So this is obviously very broad, but if I just do, and you can do this either way. You can go into here, into fashion inspired, and you can put these bullet points if you wanted to, of the ones that we just did. Show and tell, inspo. And then it might be that we just kind of copy and paste all of those, unboxing, so that you've got an idea, so that you have this to hand just in case you go, oh, I can't remember what I was doing. Behind the scenes, colors, flowers. Okay, so you've got those to hand. But then what was going to happen is, because you're doing this, you're like, oh, I could do like on the show and tell flowers, I'm going to take a screenshot of the one that I liked, and I'm going to pop it into my Trello board just so that I've got it to hand. So an example of that would be, and I'm just going to have to, so this might be inspo, flower inspo. And it might be that you've seen this particular thing. We've taken a screenshot of it because that's might be what you've done. And then we might go, let me just put this in for now. This is just random. Okay, so let's just say that that's my inspiration, that it was an image that I had. That's my inspiration. And I might just put flower inspo, going to do, I don't know, feathers and gold or something like that. So I'm not going into any more detail. I'm just going and I'm going and I'm going. And so we go back to this and we go, okay, flowers. So ruby weddings. Okay, so I'm going to put in here, ruby weddings. Then I'm going to put in my other ones, golden weddings. And then I'm going to put in here, flower girl gifts. And keep going and keep going and keep going. Okay. You don't have to put photos in there all the time. It's just that if you have something and you see it, it's really easy for us to go back to it and say, oh, yeah, that's what I was going to do. Because otherwise, this is why we go, I can't remember what I was going to do, or I can't remember what I'm going to do. You go back to your board and you keep filling this board up, and this board becomes your bank of ideas. So you do exactly the same with your flower inspo. Oh, I've got the Marilyn. So we're going to do the Marilyn and it might be that you've decided that you're going to do it in June. I can't even spell today. Sorry, Marilyn. And it might be that you're going to do that for June. And you might then go, okay, I'm going to do, I don't know. Oh yeah. So I'm going to do, I've got this round the wrong way. I've realized I've done this round the wrong way. It doesn't matter. But then it might be that I'm going to do oh yeah, you said Vivienne Westwood. And you might want to go in and go, oh, I've got all these ideas already. So you come in and you then put all your little ideas here, because it will just start going. And then you can split it out if you wanted to. So you go, oh, I'm going to do a post on this about Vivienne. I'm going to do a post on this about Vivienne. I'm going to do a post on this about Vivienne. And what's really great is that as you go through the months, you can repurpose this later on. So if Vivienne Westwood was really popular in March, you might decide that you're going to do her again in September. You might decide that you're going to bring them all back for December. So it's like they never go to waste. You can just rephrase them or repurpose them in different ways, but you've got all the stuff there. You've got all the, so you can have another list here where you say done. Oops. You can have another one where it's done, and you start pulling these over once you finish them and once you've done them, because actually that's almost something that I love to see what I've done as well. So that is like a way that you can kind of do. So repurposing for me is like, I wanted to, and we're going to do a whole workshop on repurposing as well, but just really, really quickly is that nobody goes down your whole feed, an entire feed, and then goes, oh, she did that 6-7 months ago and now she's doing it again. Nobody ever does that. There's just like, and if you are the only person that does it, I'm really sorry, because I don't feel like anybody else does it. But the thing is, you can repurpose that, and you can repurpose it in a way that even if it was a different photo, but it was the same content, or the other way around, it's like different content, but the same image, just do it. Or you do similar images and you break it out. So that's really, really great way of just being able to not have to think about what am I going to do. You want to repurpose the things that worked really well for you, because you still want that engagement all the time. So I know for a fact there are certain subjects that when I bring back, like visibility queen and things like that, everybody's all over it. So, that's where you really want to leverage that. You want to pay real attention. And this is why we're throwing things out there right now when we're starting, because once we get really busy and the things start to slot into place, we already know what's working. So I want you to give yourself permission to test all of this out right now, to say, do you know what? I don't care. I'm going to do everything that I want to do in the way that I'm going to do it, because it doesn't need to be professional. It doesn't need to be polished. It doesn't need to be perfect. There's no such thing. I'm just going to do, because I know that if I'm going to do, it's so much better than not. Oh, that's my rant for the day. Okay. So then we've got all of this. So the thing that I really want you to do is I really want you to download the app as well for Trello, because you'll be on your mobile most of the time when you see little inspirations hit, and you'll do it as print screen and you'll do it straight into Trello on your app. That's really important. So don't wait until you go to the computer. If you're on the computer, do it on the app as well. And I love that, because it just is real easy for me to yep, I'll forget it in the afternoon otherwise. So inspiration, I just want to say this one thing as well, just in case there's some of you that are going, this feels like copying. It's not copying. Inspiration, we're inspired by so many different things. It's then our take and our twist on that to make it unique in our own way is what gives us that inspiration in the first place. Okay. So I'm not saying to you to copy, but I'm saying to you, take inspiration and do it in your own way, in your own unique way. But we will always come up with our own ideas when we've seen something. It's far easier for our brain to kind of click into gear like that. Okay. So we've got this. Then the last thing that you want to do is you then want to start going, okay, well, how does that fit into my week, my month? And this is where you've got two options. You've got me out my rut, Katie. Whoop, whoop. Amazing. This is where you decide how you want to do this. There's a couple of ways that I've shown you in Kickstarter sessions. And I would say that personally, this is how I like to do this. But you can do it however way you, and as you get better at this and bigger at this, like there's a scheduler Kickstarter session that I show you, and you can start to like, see where all the days are and the dates and things like that. And that's great. But for your like first purpose of doing this and getting your content and your images and everything, I would highly recommend that you just try to do this in this way first of all. Then you can move on to the next stage afterwards. So again, I go to my my Trello and I create a brand new board. Let's get this out of the way. Why did I mess about with this earlier? Why can I not? Oh, here we go. So we're going to create a new board and it's going to be content plan. Okay, so all I'm going to do is, I think I might just, hang on a sec, let me not call it that because I think that's gone into something else. Content plan week. I'm just going to do that. Oh, that's really funny. Okay, we'll just go with this. Right, we're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, oops, Friday. What are we doing on time? Wowzers. Okay, so you decide which days you're going to do certain things. If you decide it like that, it makes it so much easier. So if we go back to the content, let me just close some of these down so I don't get, close these down, close these down. What did I do with my other? Oh, I closed it down, didn't I? Hang on a sec. Oh, I'll just do it from here to make it quick. Okay, so we're going to decide like when we do our like sweet stories as an example. So let's say that every Wednesday we're going to do sweet stories. Okay, and so you might decide that, okay, I'm going to talk about granddad's after eights. I'm also going to talk about Werther's originals in the car as a kid. My mum always used to give me like peppermints if I felt a bit queasy. Do you see I'm not coming up with the whole detail? I'm just going, my brain's going like this. Okay. Always used to love, I always wanted to love rock, but I hated it. Never liked it. Never got it. And so it keeps going. Like fairgrounds just popped into my head. Fairground sweets. The old fashioned sweet shops. I'm literally just offloading. That's how this goes. So I've taken one thing and I've got 5 different, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 old fashioned shops. Do you remember the fish and chips chocolates that you got? Oh my gosh, I love fish and chips. I don't know why. I think they've changed the consistency of them now, like as in the taste of them, because I went in and I was so disappointed when I had them. They were definitely nothing like that. But the thing is that you start talking about that like those fish and chip white chocolates, someone else will go, oh, I remember them. My favorite were like sherbet lemons, or my favorite were like do you know what I mean? What was your favorite old fashioned shop sweets? Like your audience is already telling you all the time. It doesn't matter if you're sat here going, I've only got 72 people on there. It doesn't matter. It's for the 72. It's for the person that is coming to see you. Like that's where that is. No problem at all. So, okay. And then we go to like Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday is going to be my fashion inspo. So I'm going to talk about the Marilyn. I'm going to talk about the Vivian. I'm also going to talk about like what I'm loving at the moment, but I haven't created it. So what am I loving, but not created? Okay, so then I could open up that one and go, oh my goodness, I am loving this, I'm loving that, I'm loving this. And so I then go, I've got 5 more different posts from that. Then on Monday, what am I going to do? On Monday, I'm going to do behind the scenes on Monday, because that's when I do like all of my packaging up. I can see my orders coming in, or it's when I create. So behind the scenes, I'm going to do like my time lapse of me packaging. Time lapse, doesn't matter that it's all time lapse. These are on different days, by the way, they're not on the same day. Time lapse of me making my bouquets. My bouquet, time lapse of me getting my chocolate bars together. This or that, with me showing 2 different choices of chocolate. Oh, now I've gone on to pairings, chocolate pairings. Which was my favorite? Aero mint or Aero original? Sorry for the if for the US, if you have different and you don't know what Aero is. I don't know. I love different chocolates. We actually have in Tesco's a complete US aisle for sweets. It's amazing. My little boy is always drawn to it. I have no idea what they are. They look amazing. We have do you see how I've just started talking about an aisle in Tesco's? Like I could just be there with my phone. I am loving this, Katie. Do you think that a service-based business can use the same approach? Absolutely. Yes. So like I've just said, like I talk about my dog, then I and this is another thing, Shalina, is, am I saying your name right, by the way? Because I hate saying people's names wrong. So I'm like, for me, I'm all about doing it really quick. So if I've got something on my screen, I'll always you'll see me videoing my screen. I'm not going to share my screen in terms of like doing a video recording my screen. I'm just going to take it from my phone. I don't care if there's glare on it. People get it. Like I just literally, you'll see loads of me either doing voiceover or nothing at all, just like literally scrolling up, showing people stuff on my screen the best way possible. I hardly ever show my face sometimes. Like I'll go through weeks where I just can't be bothered because I just don't want to put makeup on or things like that. And then there might be a day where I've come off and I've done like this and I'm like, oh my God, that was amazing. I loved it. So yeah, you totally can throw in as much as you like with this. And then so like, and the thing is that we don't need to do like Thursday and Friday, or we don't need to do like, it could be just like Monday, Wednesday and Friday. But what I also like to do is I also like to kind of go, so let's say that Fridays is, I'm going to make it one of those things where I do like a Friday offer. And it might be that I do a Friday offer every single week. It might be that I do, it might be that I want to get rid of some stock or something. And I have these ideas of like Friday offers. So I start to like brainstorm those. And so those just come in. Like I might just go, oh yeah, I'm just going to do like, I might do an add-on of my bouquet with this. And it might be as I'm looking through stock, I'm like, oh, that could go. So I'm getting my phone out and I'm just adding to that. And so before you know it, I've got all of these ideas. And so when we take 1 week at a time then from this, is we then take that time out to kind of go, okay, so the time lapse is, I don't need to say really much because I've got that under control. I know what I'm doing. The Marilyn is like, can still be a show and tell. Like these are the things that I'm doing. Granddad's After Eights, that's dead easy that I can do because I know the story like off by heart. I love writing. It's just like doing it, done, done, done. And it doesn't need to be long. You don't need to think that you've got to do an essay with this. And Friday Offers, I've got that sorted out. My brain is already like, I've got it all in check. And so what I need to do now is just pay like that half an hour to an hour of deciding whether I'm going to do 1 week at a time, 2 weeks at a time, whatever that looks like, 1 month at a time, whatever suits you. But the thing is don't make it too I don't want to say the word laborious, but don't make it to the point where you don't love it anymore. The minute you stop loving it, you just put pen down, because that's just then almost, I feel like your soul's going, enough now. We've done a little bit. That's great. So if you just said to set the intention, I always love setting intentions, is that set the intention of, okay, when I'm doing this session today, my intention is I'm just going to do a week's worth of posts for this week. We're going to be really simple and they're going to be really easy and they're going to be effortless. So I'm making that intention before we've even done anything. I'm saying that to myself already. And I already know that I can do that because I've already got all of these bits here already. And so as we go through this process from each week, this just gets bigger and bigger and bigger because we're adding to it. We're not starting from scratch again. And so that's where you're feeling, if you don't have this, you're always feeling like you're feeling from scratch. You start from scratch. So try to get into this mechanism of, I'm adding to my bank. This is great. I don't have to use them all right now. They're just there. They're with ideas. And it might be where you kind of go, oh, I had something come into my mind then. Oh, I'm going to pop that on my list. And because you've got your phone, you just pop it in and you'll do it later. But it's like, you don't have to come up with inspiration on the dot then at that point, because it's already there. So does that make sense in the sense of, like, I know this is like me showing you, and I've used a net as an example. But does anybody else want me to like give this a go for them? I'm also appreciative of time, because we've been an hour and a half. So I appreciate some people were like, no, I'm okay. I'm good. I've got this. Then what you would do, just to finish this, wrap this up, is that you would then go and do the scheduling, and you can go and see that bit in the Kickstarter, or you just upload however way you want to upload your posts. But it then allows you to feel that you're feeling more organized. And also it's really like start to test different times of the day so that you know where your audience, when they're responding. So mine respond obviously because my audience is in 2 different time zones. So in the evening works better, but that just doesn't always work for me in that respect if I want to do something and say something right now. So stories like evolve. I love stories. Like for me, stories are just like, I do stories, if I'm honest, a lot of them on the hop, apart from when I'm doing promos, and I'll have the sequence that I know where I'm kind of going with that. But I love like on the hop stories because for me, they're quick. Like I don't do these long, like, and this is the thing that I think you could be overthinking things if things are taking you too long and trying to make things too perfect looking. So I want to see, like for me, like the photos that you use, they should be lifestyle kind of imagery. They don't need to be stock imagery looking, like as in you don't need to always have the white backgrounds and everything like that. I want to see the things where it looks more natural. And actually, if I'm honest, this is the only time that I'll really kind of say this, is that it's favored when it looks more natural, when it doesn't look like too green screened, if that makes sense. Add to the idea bank instead of starting from scratch. Yes. Oh, I love the fact that you give me the nuggets back. Amazing. So does anybody have any questions at all? Because I want to obviously seeing all you lovely ladies that have popped in. Let me know if you have any questions. If you don't, or then you can always respond after this. And then I'm going to do another live Q&A anyway. I think that's going to be next week. Because I'm loving in this space at the moment. There's lots of new ladies that have come in, which is amazing. But this should just hopefully start this up for you and really get you to a point where you feel completely energized with your posts. This is wonderful. Oh, thank you. You're wonderful, Patricia. You lovely, lovely soul. Okay. So I'm going to call it a day then. I'm sending you love, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me, because it's just been amazing. What I'll do is on this actual video, I will link, I'll see how I can do it. But I will get you the plan that we went through with all the links. I might pop it into the workshop in the live replay in the portal just to make it easier. But yeah, I've loved it. And I'll leave the link to wherever it's going to be in this actual post as well. So I'm sending you love, ladies. Have an amazing week, and I will speak to you soon. Take care, lovely ones.